Oh, there you
Let me see. I think we're live right now, so it's a little easier to read the comments.
go. Yeah.
See how many people get the first comments. Good evening, guys. So I'll wait just a little bit so I can give introduction to a good friend of mine, a guest that we have here today. Somebody visiting from out of town, somebody that I've known for, better part of my life. He's known me from when I was a young kid running around to now. So somebody who's at least close, very close to our family. So I guess we'll go now. It's pretty late, so I don't
Yeah, it's late on the East Coast. I know there might be a couple of folks on the East Coast. So
yeah, and there's a lot of people in the East Coast
yeah,
that
yeah.
3-4 hours ahead that might not be here.
Right.
So this is Mark Springer. He's a good friend of the family. Mark is a knife enthusiast. He has been for years. When I briefly mentioned him in one of my previous videos, and I incorrectly stated where he's from. And that my apologies. I said he was from Pennsylvania, but he's from.
No, I'm from Plymouth, Massachusetts.
So he's from Massachusetts. He's from New England.
Yes.
So we got more people in here. I got Mangus. I got Howard. I got Brian. Welcome, guys. How's it going? I don't know if you guys heard me give the quick introduction. Mark, good friend of mine, has a decent knife collection. He flew into town with his wife. He lives out in Bethel. You know, Bethel is the hub for Hooper Bay, where we're from. And I say where from because he's been out there long enough to say he's from Hooper Bay. His wife and his kids are from Hooper Bay. So I got Casey with Coughlin Cutlery here. Hey, Casey. So Mark's been a good friend of our family for a long time. So is his entire family.
Yeah. So hey, James. I don't think you've ever told much origin story. Why don't you tell them how you got into the law enforcement game?
Well,
not to embarrass you. But.
Well, I won't go too far into it, but I was 18 years old. I was working at a store, stocking shelves. I worked at stores since I was, 13 years old. And it's kind of all I knew. It's how I made money aside from when I was in high school. I made money making masks and ulus and things like that to buy, clothes, basketball shoes, things like that. But long story short, my wife and I, high school sweethearts, right before we were graduating, my wife was pregnant. She was due with our oldest child. And I needed to find a way to make more money because I didn't make barely enough for myself working at the store. And as I was walking down the boardwalk, and basically a boardwalk is exactly that. We have very uneven land, mud, hills.
We just don't have merry-go-rounds and carousels on the boardwalk.
Exactly. So when you think boardwalks, it's not those type of boardwalks. These are a necessity to get from point A to point B. And as I was walking up one of those, Mark comes out of the city office, and I was walking there with my best friend, Jan Olson, and I hope Jan chimes in because he subscribes as well. But Jan and I were walking, and Jan was in the same predicament as I was. He was expecting a son as well. I was expecting a girl. He was expecting a boy. Mark steps out of the city office and he says, "Hey, any of you? How old are you, young men?" And I kind of ignored him. I was on my way to work, and Jan said, "How come?" And he says, "Do you guys want?" Jan says, "18 years old. How come?" Mark says, "Do you guys want to be cops?" And I was like, "Not in a million years, man." And I started walking away, and my friend said, "How much does it pay?" Mark said, $8.50 an hour. That's not much, but when you compare that to the $4.25 I was making at the store, that was like head and shoulders above what I was making. So that's kind of how I got into it. I turned around, and that was the fastest million years in my life. So that's kind of how I got into law enforcement. I always had an exit plan, and I'm still planning that 30 plus years later. So that's kind of how it is. And, Mark was a city administrator at the time. As time went on, Mark and I talked a lot. I would go up to the school and teach
Yeah,
mask making, traditional ulu making, and things to the kids as it was taught to me. And his oldest son, who was a former Marine, became a good friend of mine. And I taught him how to make masks, and we just clicked. We became friends, even though he was much younger. And as that progressed, I started getting close to Mark, of course. And Mark asked me one day. He goes, "Hey, James, I heard you like knives," and I think Walter told him. And I said, "Yeah, I do." And he goes, "How long you been collecting knives?" And I said, "Not long. I don't collect knives." And he goes, "Well, how many do you have?" I said, "I don't know." And he goes, "Well, you collect knives then." And I was like, "All right, fair enough." And he goes, "Hey, have you ever heard of case knives?" And yep, Nate, that is my oldest son. He looks like his grandmother, nothing like me. But Brother Blades, Rex, how are you? Good evening, brother. I want to acknowledge everybody that's in here. We got 21 people. If I didn't say your name, my apologies. Sometimes this chat goes up really quick. So he goes, "Have you ever heard of case knives?" And I said, "No, what is that?" So living in the village in Alaska, the only two knives you know about back then was buck and old timer. That's it. That was on the store shelves, and that's all you ever really bought unless it was homemade. And he goes, "Oh, they're really cool knives, and they have a lot of bone, and you should really order some of them." I was like, "I don't know about that." And he goes, "They're cool." And then he says, "You should try to order one of those hobo knives. They'd be good for your camping. And they're also really cool looking. And it's one of the last years you can really get the stag that's being released in them." And I was like, "All right, send me a link." And that by that time, I think it was mail order. You couldn't go online or anything. And I ordered a case hobo stag with a fork and a knife. And after I received it, I liked it so much, I ended up buying the barbed wire one I shared before. And I also bought the fork, spoon, and knife one. And I bought that for my younger brother as well. And he lost it or somebody stole it. But I got hooked on case knives. The one thing I regret is he goes, "Hey, man, you should pick up some of those case cheetahs." And I looked and I said, "Man, those are god awful ugly." And I'm don't that was my opinion when I was like 20 years old. Now, granted, my opinion hasn't changed much because I mean I love swing guards, but part of my brain goes, why? It looks cool and that's about it. I don't know if it really serves too big of a function. But then again, what do the smaller guards do anyway? So, anyways, I see somebody says you sell weapons. Well, no, I sell tools. A knife is a tool. Just as much as a hammer is, and if it turns into a weapon because something happens, that's what it turns into. But, anyways, that's how I got into collecting case knives, and he's the blame for my collection of case knives.
Yeah.
So, Mark brought in a few knives I wanted him to share with everybody. Mark.
So my hobo knife's fatter than your hobo knife.
I beg to differ.
Yeah,
I think it's perspective and how you hold it.
Yeah, I've seen yours, but
Yeah. Same year. So he ordered his the same exact time I think I ordered mine. Mine's a 99, his is a 99. And this is a beautiful example of a case hobo.
bought it used and or bought it secondhand, I guess, and it's never been sharpened, never cut a steak, so
It's in mint condition.
Yeah.
I actually, well, it needs to be polished, and maybe I'll take care of that for him while he talks to you guys or something if he wants.
yeah.
But definitely just needs to be polished. That's almost 30 years of gunk right there. That just from sitting on there, or as we all say, maybe schmutz or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Thank you. I appreciate it. Somebody just rang my doorbell. I don't know who they are. They rang it again. Hold on 1 second. You guys there? Okay, I can't see you guys. I'm sorry. So I was connected to my Wi-Fi. I'm away in my shop, and my router has a weak signal, and I got to remember to connect it to. All right, cool. I got to remember to connect it to my cell phone signal. I can't see you guys. Let me try to get this going again. I'll be right back. Okay. Now we got the camera back.
Yeah, look like the truck out there, but he pulled away. So maybe should be delivering something. I don't know.
Oh, I was expecting a UPS.
Oh, well, there you go. Maybe that's what it was.
All right.
So anyway, so yeah, that's my fat stagnant. One of the reasons I came here was to have you look at Walter's case knife. I don't know whether it closes right or not.
So do you mind if I share a little bit?
Go ahead.
So Walter, you know, he's a good friend of mine. Obviously, that's Mark's oldest boy. He passed away some years ago unexpectedly, and it was pretty devastating. You know, to me, I lost a really good friend. Of course, Mark lost his oldest son. And Mark has a bunch of girls, and he has one other son,
Yeah.
Paul. And, you know, Walter was his oldest boy, and Walter, geez, would have been 40?
Yeah, something like that.
Would have been 40 years old now. You know, he was 10 years younger than I was. I remember that. You know, good heart, good kid, and always try to do the right thing. So that's when he talks about having Walter's knife. He bought this 6318 pattern for him.
Yeah, he was in Afghanistan in the Marine Corps. He was just a short call. He was there for 6 months. He was a engineer equipment mechanic, and he was stationed, among other places, at the place in Arizona. One way down at the bottom, the air station there. And so they deployed, and they went to Camp Bastion, and he was helping build the airfield there and stuff. But he brought that back, and it seems like it's not closing straight.
So it's not. So the sheep's foot is going outside of the spay blade, and it's supposed to go on the inside. And it also is gummed up pretty good. But if you guys see, when I close it, it's it doesn't want to close all the way. When it does, it goes to the outside. You know, I'm going to kind of see what I can do while Mark kind of talks a little bit.
Okay, yeah, sure. So I know one of the things James likes is coins. So I don't know if you've got one of these or not. You got a DOC one?
I probably do.
Probably do.
Yes.
There, you can have that one.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Do you want to show that to them?
Yeah. My daughter is a corrections officer, and this is just a DOC challenge coin. Says that they're walking Alaska's toughest beat, which is quite true if you know anything about criminals in Alaska. This James, I know James has one of these because I gave it to him. This is a 1st Marine Corps Force Recon challenge coin that Walter brought from Camp Pendleton. He'd gone to engineering equipment school, and he worked on their outboards at Camp Pendleton. And I'll tell you a funny story. So he worked in the shop there, and one day he drove the forklifts 4 times through the garage door. And as a little NJP, he got to carry around like a 50-pound bottle jack in his backpack. And this captain comes up to him and says, "Oh, what do you got in the pack there?" "Oh, I got a bottle jack, sir." "How come?" "Oh, I'm warming up for the recon screen test." The captain goes, "Marine," he says, "you're the one that drove the forklift through that door." He says, "But you're a motivator, son." That they went and put recon into MARSOC, and he transferred to Iwakuni and never did get a chance to do a screen test. But oh well.
You got Jimmy on, and that's Mark's son-in-law.
Oh yeah.
So
that's Doodle.
Or is that Doodle?
That's Doodle.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, gotcha.
That's my grandson.
Okay, well, That's
That's my
That's his
grandson.
daughter and son-in-law's
Yeah.
son. So Mark,
Yep.
you know,
You got a beat on that a little bit?
so no,
No.
it's done.
Oh.
So just, I don't know if you guys do this. Here's another shop trick, and a lot of people don't realize how helpful this stuff is. If you guys, if you don't know what 50/50 is, this is a homemade penetrant that, penetrating oil basically, that works much better than almost anything on the market. I think the closest thing I could say that's probably as good as Croil, at least in my experience. So what it is 50% acetone and 50% transmission fluid. And you put that in a spray bottle, it thins it out so much where you can actually spray it, and you can get it on seized up bolts. I spray it. Yeah, Croil is great. It is smelly. I don't know. 50/50 smells pretty good to me, but you know, I'm just some village kid that works on engines when he was growing up, so.
There you go. There you go.
So I spray this on all of my gummed up knives because I talked about this before. One of the best removers of like old oil is new oil. And if you have old oil in joints and you put new oil in there and it's thinned out with acetone, it helps kind of work that back and forth, and it helps get that out. But here's a knife that I just showed that was having that issue, and it just needed a little bit of love. So, and straightening out. And me being a father of 6 kids, I'm pretty good at giving love and straightening things out. You know, so here's a Stockman, the 6318. I'm going to clean this up before Mark leaves. This is just the beginning of it. But he leaves in a few days, and if we don't get to it tonight, I'm going to finish it for him before he leaves. But first, I'll get the clip point blade. Nice snap after you spray that 50/50 in there. And the spade blade, it should go right outside, and it should hug that liner, which it does now. And the sheep's foot should go right down the middle. And as it does right there. So all that needed somehow, and me assuming, because I know Walter pretty well, or knew him very well, is he probably ended up trying to use this
He
for
was prying
something.
with it.
Yeah, he was prying
something
something
with it. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So now it's fixed. It's good. I'll get it polished up.
Yeah. Cool. Right on. Thank you. So I was watching your video of your girls out fishing,
Okay.
and you definitely got to step up Emmy's game. That
Oh.
Zebco's cute, but get her a nice rod, and she'll be killing grayling like crazy with that thing.
Wow, Mark, I appreciate this. So
Yeah.
Mark just gave me a Abu Garcia that's made in Sweden, not one of the newer Chinese ones. This is actually a really nice. Well, he gave Emma, not me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know, she'll use it. She's definitely always with me with that. So, hey, how's it going? Good to see you, Sheepdog. Awesome to see you there. So I mean, there's a lot of things that I kind of wanted to talk to Mark about. He had a few other cool
I got
knives.
a couple more. Yeah.
I asked him to show some of his knives. Yep. Of course, I didn't know if you wanted your name said. Wayne, good to see you.
So this is this is my cold steel. Actually, Paul claims it now. It's a cold steel Trailmaster only, made in USA. It's 1990s vintage. I bought it off of my good friend Dean Swope in Bethel for not a huge amount of money.
And by the
long
way,
time ago.
Dean is an awesome guy.
Yeah. He used to have boxes of cold steel knives that he sold, and it's tarnished because when I was living down on almost Old Mission Road, Valerie Davidson lived across the street. She came over one day. Julie was there. She goes, "You guys want a salmon?" I said, "Sure." So the only knife I had in the place was that, and Julie used that to cut the damn fish up to cook. And
So-
it's never get used for nothing else. It's sitting. I got to put some Huberts, I think, onto the sheath there. But Paul just calls it his little sword. I would, if I was in Southeast taking a hike, I would definitely have it with me, ready and cross draw if some bear decided to.
So
bother me.
there is a crack
Yeah,
right here
there's
that
no
if it's not stabilized, it will get worse. So if Mark is okay with it, I'm going to stabilize
You
it.
can put some stuff in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I got some lucky that didn't fall on my toe.
No kidding. Or other places. Yeah, that's right.
Well,
That's right.
I need my toes still. I don't need anything. So I'm going to put some of this brown CA glue, this Star Bond, and none of this was planned. I didn't know he had a crack on this. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to turn this
Crack's been there
into.
for a long time,
Yeah.
but
And you know what? Nate Calhoun says he loves Stag and he tries to trade everything for Stag. I already tried, Nate. You're not getting this. So, Mark, if
I
you
might
look,
have some trade goods, but I don't think any of them have blades on them.
yeah. So, Mark, you see this right here?
Yep.
So you'll still be able to see it, but it'll stop that crack.
Yeah, there we go. That's close enough, you know.
And it's brown, it's not clear, so it gives a kind of a better look to it.
Yeah.
So I put some CA glue in there, sprayed some activator on it. And before he leaves, if he wants, I mean, this will get cleaned up too.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And, you know, shit.
Now, I don't
man.
want you guys to think I'm jumping the queue here, but and
No.
you know, some of this is no big hurry. Actually, I do have a project for you that you can keep in the queue, but you'll enjoy it, I think. Talking about, oh, you know what I found? What I remembered, you were showing off the.
Let me catch up on the comments just in case people have questions. So basically, they're all saying very nice. Bubba said he's going to get that 50-50, nice reel. Nate, of course, is trying to grab your Stag knife.
Yeah.
And then, Mangus is saying 50-50 is good. Good on you, Mangus. I'm glad you use that stuff. And LS 1007 is saying that he started with cold steel knives. And Tim, the bearded knife guy, is saying he's only allowed sow bellies. So I'm just going through some of the comments. Hey, how's it going, Tim? And Rex is saying, as an old storyteller, he's really enjoying us. So, you know, this is it. I mean, Mark knows I'm a talker. Mark's even more of a
I'm
talker.
having a hard time getting a word in edgewise. But
Same here. It's like a battle.
Kind of expected that.
You got the Yupik culture and the New England culture like clashing with who wants to get a word in.
There you go.
It's coast versus coast.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. So I watched you were showing off your Mitchak that James made. And I'm like, oh, I got one of those at home too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it just doesn't have a hole drilled through it to tie
Put
it
the
down.
lashing?
Yeah, you got to soak it. And I got it somewhere. Julie bought it for me a long time ago. So I got one of those. But this is a family heirloom. This is a Kienlich that Julie's dad made. And it broke. I know this is going to be a piece of cake to fix. I think we've talked about this over the years. Yeah. It's just, I found another old axe handle and fix it up. But if you look at it, I mean, I watched my father-in-law, George Moses Sr., make a lot of looks. And one of the things I kick myself in the ass about of a few is that I never paid enough attention, especially to his finish, because if you look at how he's got the pins on there, those are just nails. But how he's got them, there's not a hot spot on that blade, not a hot spot on the handle. And, he would cut out the blanks with a chisel, on Sunday morning or Saturday morning. And it was all hacksaw work, hacksaw the nails off and then hacksaw the slits in them for the blade. Used a hand drill to drill the holes. I think he had a wheel grinder to finish them with. Mm-hmm. But he made lots of them. He'd make big ones to take to Chivac to sell to them for king salmon. And so that's Julie's. That's the only one she's got that he made now, and just needs a little TLC. Just fill that hole there, and should be good for another few years.
Well, Tim, I'm doing well. My knee's been acting up this week, but it seems like it's better. Maybe the weekend makes it better. And Nate, Nate says, thank you for bringing pizzazz to the channel. Yeah.
Well, we try. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Hey, you got salt and pepper here.
We'll do this again sometime. Yeah, I thought about getting a haircut today first, but
So this Are you asking me to fix this handle or replace it?
If you could fill it, that would be nice. Yeah, if you could just
So George Moses Sr., his father-in-law, was actually my neighbor growing up, and he lived across the street from my grandfather. And George and my grandfather they were relatives, and they loved each other, and they were good neighbors, and they always spoke highly of each other. And my grandpa even used to tell me that I would have to listen to what George said. Unfortunately, they both passed very close in time, as they were both about the same age. And I always remember, George was a very respected elder in the community. I mean, very respected elder. And I mean, Mark, this is crazy thin. I don't know what he used that's like.
It's a saw blade.
But it's hardened steel, and you're right. These are nails, and I think
you can't feel. I mean, yeah, your keen likes your TIG weld the things, and those are just as smooth as your TIG welds.
They are. I mean, he definitely took time not getting hot spots in there, and I think that was because of his wife.
Well, that was part of it, but the ladies will buy quality,
Yeah.
He would sell a lot of them.
I'm an example of that. That's why my wife married me. So, all joking aside, Mark, I mean, it's a honor for me to even see this and study it and look at it, and I'll fix it. I'll get to it.
Take your time.
It's epoxy and shaping. I'll dedicate this to my half an hour of my personal time. Okay.
Oh, do you have that much?
Oh, well, I told these guys that every time I'm in the shop, I try to take half an hour to an hour at the end, just for myself, because if I make this like another job, it won't feel like fun.
Yeah.
And I have to do that if I want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, this would be...
It'll be fun.
Especially for Julie. And Julie is Mark's wife. So, it would be more for Julie than for Mark.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Mark.
No. That's okay. Okay.
You have any more knives?
I got a couple more. So here's, now, guess where I bought this thing? It's the handle's a little beat up, Kraton, it's had things done to it, and not bad things. I got scratched up one time, but this is a buck 619 with a Kraton handle and this style of sheath for it, and I bought this for I don't know how much at Hills and Joe's store a long time ago.
From Hills and Joe's?
From Hills and
so
Joe's
when I said I was working since I was 13 years old, it was actually Hill and Joe's. That was the name of the store, not Hills.
Yeah.
So Hill and Joe's. And that was owned by another relative of my wife. It was my wife's relative, Reuben Hill Sr., and he ran that store, and that was the store where you got ammunition, where you got rifles, where you got knives. I want to say Anika's where I got my old timer from, my sharp finger, but Hill and Joe's is where I got my buck from. And I got my first guns from there. Reuben and my grandfather were best friends. They were like this. And, Reuben would pay me $20 for bringing in freight. And that was a lot of money back then, $20 to a 13-year-old. For just some comparison, when I was buying a box of 20 gauge shotgun shells, I think each one of those boxes was maybe $9 or $10. So that left me, I was able to buy those shells, buy a box of 22 shells, a few snacks, and I walk out into the tundra and go hunting. Burning Stable Forge, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you being here. So, that's a little backstory to that, but I worked for him for years, and funny thing is that's where my wife worked. That's kind of, my wife is my classmate, but that's where we really started talking when she got to see how strong my muscles were from bringing in all those soda cans and stuff.
Oh, you mean it wasn't your personality?
Hey, you know what? That came later. You develop those things later. When I was 16 years old, you definitely develop you don't develop this muscle as quick as you develop the other muscles.
Yeah.
So, anyways, she worked as a store clerk. Man, this is a cool knife.
It is. No, it's I think Dean sharpened it once for me, and
So this is a model 619, and it has the letter C stamped on it, and I don't have access to my phone, but if he's telling it the way it is, Hill and Joe's, it's probably late 80s, early 90s.
yeah,
My guess.
I bought it. Yeah, I could have bought it in the '80s.
Yeah.
But it's nice because I think Walter may have taken it out seal hunting one time or whale hunting. The nice about the Kraton, of course, is your hands can be wet and it's not going to slip away on you.
Well, it definitely has something in that buck right there.
Yeah,
And this, if I was to guess, it's not the size of a 119 blade, maybe a 118. The one
it's
next.
not a general.
Yes, yeah, not no. 120 is higher.
Yeah.
The 118, this looks like that size, which is a very good size. You know, oh, he's an Alaskan knife trader. Yes, he is, man. And he's stingy. He won't give up any of his knives.
I got nothing.
Right?
I got. Yeah. Well, I've got a well curated collection, shall we say?
He brought over, and I made him a slip. So that
Yeah.
photo, that do you got it?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Can I see
Yeah,
it?
I got it. Yeah.
So
I will keep
again,
an eye on it while you're examining your handiwork.
so kind of let you guys know, and I work off camera, believe it or not. I do a few things before I show that.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I pulled this knife apart. You guys recognize what that is? Hey, what's up, Bob? I appreciate you. So, look at this. What's up, Jesse? How are you, brother? So, it almost felt sacrilegious to pull this apart. And for those of you who kind of guessed it, these are the handles from an elephant toe. This is Nate's knife. So Nate, I got a couple of his knives, and I'm going to be rehandling this in ivory. And I got a nice chunk of walrus ivory right here that I'm going to be using. And I also have his Longhorn, and I'm going to be using Mastodon on that. And those are my next projects that I'm working on in queue with a few others. I got, and if I'm okay with it, I got one from a subscriber, and I got a couple from other YouTube channels. Actually, two from subscribers. Can you hand me that fixed blade with those two scales right there? Yeah, that. And the two moose. So I started cleaning this up, and I cut these out yesterday, but I got a good friend that sent me this fixed blade, and he asked, this was one of the first trades I did, and this is in the queue. I have to do a few things. This is a pre-made blade, and I usually don't rehandle pre-made blades because I'm attaching my name to something that I don't know what it is. I don't know where it was made, and I don't want people to think that I'm sorry I make junk. But this was a friend, and I told him I'd look at it, and it's a nice quality. It has really nice grinds. It's a cool shape. It's a little unfinished. I got to refine it a little more. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill probably 3 1/8-inch pinholes on each side and hold a stag in on the outside with smaller pins instead of using these 2 holes right there. I'll drill the lanyard hole because I know he likes lanyards, but I'm going to be using some moose stag. And for those of you who kind of want to compare or never really saw or have seen the size of a moose stag antler compared to a whitetail, let me show you something.
Surprise, surprise. The white-tailed deer even have antlers?
Yeah, I do.
I was say, do they? Yeah, that's a very attractive shot there. That's going to get the subs.
So, so here's a whitetail deer antler, and this was taken right at the base, and that's a pretty big whitetail base, right? And hey, what's up, Steven? Brother Steven, good to see you. And here's the base of a smaller bull moose. So definitely a size difference here. Stop bagging on our whitetail. Hey, you know what? It's kind of like the Great Dane saying, "Hey, Chihuahua, you're doing all right. We'll take care of you, little brother." You know, but whitetail, I've never. I shouldn't joke. We have Sitka blacktail up here, and they make whitetail look big. So it's. I've seen them all. You know, Alaska has the small ones as well, and
But we also have elk.
oh yeah, we do have
We have
elk,
elk.
only on
Adak Island.
Fognac.
No, Adak.
Is it on Adak?
I think.
No.
Oh no, I think you're right. They're in Fognac.
Yes,
Adak
Fognac.
is where the bag limit for caribou is one every hour.
And Adak used to be where the wild cows were at, I think.
No.
Was
No,
that or
no,
further
that
down?
Was, that was
further down.
that was down in Chernovsky area
Yes.
behind Dutch Harbor.
And if you can imagine what cows that eat and feast solely on seaweed taste like, not for me, man. You know. All right, so let's see. You get your corn from Rural King, yeah. They talking about the deer down there.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you, some of the biggest deer I ever seen driving, and I've driven through quite a bit. Kansas has big deer. You drive further north, you know, you start seeing some in Nebraska. They start having bigger deer. But man, Wyoming, I don't know what it is about Wyoming, but the moment we crossed over from the Dakotas into Wyoming on our way to Montana, like that one corner there, it was like deer central, and they were just everywhere. Like this is probably the most puckering moments driving at night that I ever had, because I thought we were going to hit some of that. But I've never had the benefit of trying any whitetail or even mule deer for that matter. You know, my I guess taste buds have only dealt really with moose and caribou, reindeer. Reindeer is genetically the same, but it tastes a lot different. It's a lot less gamey for some reason. And they have a lot more fat. So that's one thing that I'm familiar with. Muskox as well. Muskox is delicious.
Oh man, can't beat it.
Yeah, muskox is better, I think, than
The
beef.
first time I had lived in Alaska for, I don't know, 40 something years. Never had muskox. Always heard about it. So my wife comes home from work. She works at a adolescent treatment center for boys. And she says, "Oh, Rio made muskox." I'm like, "Oh, cool, man." Well, it was Filipino style muskox. So I said, I am not gonna let this turn me off to what I've always heard about how good muskox is. I mean, it was just, all spiced up. You don't spice up muskox. And I'll tell you, muskox fat is the whitest stuff you've ever seen, and you don't even need to cook it. But you do want, when you get it, you want to cook it quick because it'll turn bad on you in a hurry. But I finally got some muskox that I cooked, and oh my goodness gracious, I can't wait for the next shot. I just cannot wait. So yeah. James is down here putting more stabulator into the blade of this cold steel knife.
I'm putting the thin CA glue on the other side because there's a thinner crack on the other side that I want the thinner glue to fill in. So that's what I'm doing. But man, we talk about muskox. I drew a tag in 2016.
Wow.
And we have a lottery, wildlife lottery every year that you buy tickets for. And I bought one muskox tag. And I was trying to get a moose tag for this area because after we moved from Hooper Bay, it was not many places we can go hunting on the road system. And there are some prime places, but you have to have a tag issued to you. And you only get those through the raffle or the drawing, the lottery that they have. I didn't win any of those. And I was sitting at work and I got notified I won that muskox tag drawing. And I didn't get excited about it. I was like, man, I want a muskox tag. I really wanted a moose tag. And my friend, one of my coworkers, was sitting right next to me. He goes, "You won what?" And he goes, "I want a muskox tag." And he goes, "Do you realize that how rare that is for you to win that muskox tag?" And I said, "No." He goes, "It's literally like winning the lottery. You know, there's not that many people that get it." So, anyways, because I ended up going out in 2017, that's when the tag was for, flew out to Nunivak Island, Macoriac, and I had a friend that lived there, and I got to stay at his house, used one of their snow machines. And again, that's what we call snowmobiles. And we drove out. And
Snow go, really.
Well, snow go, yeah. But anyways, I ended up getting a pretty nice bull, and my friend was like, "Hey, do you want a smaller bull?" He goes, I told him no, and he goes, "You sure?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "This is a pretty rare hunt. Unfortunately, against my better judgment, I'm hunting for horns this time, not for meat. I can cook it a little bit longer." And he laughed about it, but that was kind of it, you know. So it's not bad here. It's actually right at freezing here, so it's a lot better than it was at the beginning of this month.
Yeah.
And
Not 30 below like it's been in Bethel.
yeah, so but I'm trying to catch up on these comments. Looks like we all have something in common. And where did Mark come before Alaska? So he came in, and he's from.
I'm originally from Plymouth, Massachusetts, Manamet, really, if you know the country there. I joined the Coast Guard in 1974, right after I graduated from Plymouth Carver Regional High School. I was on a cutter sailing out of Boston for about 8 months. Went to Guantanamo Bay with a weekend stop at Montego Bay that was memorable. And then I went to electronics technician school on Governor's Island in New York. Lived there for I don't know how many months. And then went out to, got orders to go to the Loran station in Tok, which wasn't built yet. So several of us who were going to the new Loran chain, two new Loran chains that were getting built on the West Coast.
So
I went out to California, out to Petaluma and
so Tok.
Air Force Base, yeah.
I don't know why they sent a coastie to Tok. Tok is the next community outside of the Canadian border, like in the interior.
We were doing anti-submarine warfare in the Tanana River. No, they built when the pipeline got built, and they were going to start running, very large crude carriers into Valdez. Back then, the state-of-the-art navigational system was Loran C. And so the Coast Guard built there had already been a Loran chain in Alaska at St. Paul and Port Clarence and Attu. And they put Loran stations at Tok.
What's up, Red Eye?
And Shoal Cove down at Ketchikan and Narrow Cape at Kodiak. And so I was on the commissioning crew of the station in Tok. We were the master station. You know what that is? So I got out of the Coast Guard in 1978. And back then you could go to college on the GI Bill and still have beer money left at the end of the month. And so I went to college in Fairbanks, and that's where I met my wife. And the rest, as they say, is history.
His wife was a teacher in Hooper Bay for a long time.
She was a Yupik teacher.
And she is a Yupik teacher from Hooper Bay, which is pretty rare. It's an accomplishment, for us to have law enforcement, teachers, healthcare that are local from the area. Usually they have to have people come in from the outside and fill that void. But
you're not going to bring Yupik teachers in from out of town.
Yeah.
But,
all right. Hey, Brian, have a good night if you haven't already left. I appreciate you being here. And, okay, Wayne says that there's a Navy base in the Mojave Desert.
I believe there is.
And Red Eye, who's in Kentucky, good friend, says that his dad fought the Japanese on the island of Attu and Kiska.
There you go. Yeah, the 1,000-Mile War, yeah.
Yep, and he wants to visit there one day. It's always windy there. Yep, so I got brother Charlie here, Charlie Cook, awesome guy, firefighter. Very good guys here. Just as Mark is a friend to me, a lot of you are now friends to me as well. And part of my whole deal of wanting to go live is Mark said, hey, should we come over? So you want to do a show and talk about the knives? And I was like, yeah, sure. And as I was thinking about it, I was like, man, I don't want to sit here and kind of talk into a phone, like recording like we're doing now. But it's a little different when it's live, when we know people can watch us. It feels more like a conversation than a show being recorded for later. And I don't know, we didn't really come into this with any pre-planned agenda except for to look at a few knives.
Yeah.
So
And I know, let me get this thing open. I know you like Zippo lighters, and we're just talking about Loran C, and this is a rather virginal Zippo lighter that was commissary from the Loran station in Lampedusa, Italy. I had a buddy who was stationed there, and I've got a letter somewhere in my strongbox from him saying, "Don't send me any more contraband." I got this off of eBay. I typed in Loran C and just looking for keepsakes, and so this one doesn't even have a flint in it.
yeah, it's 1999 or 91. I'm sorry,
yeah.
91. If it had a flint in there, it disintegrated.
Yeah, it may have disintegrated too.
And I got replacement flints if he wants to do that
I'm
as
just,
well.
I'm just keep it the way it is. I'm not gonna go light my pipe with it.
You got that slip I was asking?
Yeah.
So,
Where did I put it? I just had it a minute ago.
see,
Yeah, there you go.
man, you better not be getting that old and losing some. So Mark actually has one of my first slips. I made this for Mark. I think this was, what did I tell you? This was about maybe my fifth,
You were all hopped up on painkillers, so I don't
Yeah.
know if you know what you even said, but
yeah, about my fourth or fifth slip. Yeah, that's BS. We know. So I made this, and it's pretty wide, but his knife that he wanted in there is a pretty unique knife, and I actually offered to trade for him because I thought it was cool as heck. But this is a Kershaw.
it's a double duty.
It's called a double duty, but what it is basically a muskrat with thumb studs, not a muskrat. This would be it's a moose.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's a moose pattern.
Yeah, I think
So it's a moose pattern, not a muskrat. So it has a spay blade and a clip point on each end, but each end has thumb studs. And I mean, aside from the god awful ugly paca wood or whatever they call that, I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of this stuff. I know it's durable, but when you have so many other handle options out there, it's just less than desirable, at least in my eyes. But it's still a beautiful knife.
Yeah, it's
And-
actually, I used to see them in Blade magazine on like the back cover, and I'm like, man, I like that knife, and that was apart from that case hobo that I bought a long time ago. This is like the second knife, third or fourth, but deliberate one that I bought. So it disappeared on me. I'm like, oh man, where is it?
Hold on.
And when you got little grandchildren, stuff disappears. And I bought not a new one, but I bought one off of eBay. And it came, and then my littlest granddaughter came over, and she pulls out it was a box of baby wipes. And she gives it to me, and it rattles. I'm like, what's this? And I open it, and there was my knife. So I gave the other one to my brother-in-law out in Hooper Bay, and he proceeded to scratch his initials all over it, but it got cadged by a neighbor.
Yeah.
However, I do like that knife, and the slip fits it perfectly, and you don't know it's in the pocket.
And that's kind of what we had tried to achieve, right? So I want to catch up on a few things.
yeah.
Nate says that he has a bunch of knives. I did get to see them, and I am trying to snatch them. Not trying to. I will. And Charlie says package should be delivered tomorrow. Awesome. I can't wait. Matt, Dirty Old Pat, says you two make an awesome show. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. Jerry Phillips says he's trying to chat but not getting through. I don't know how to fix that, or even if that is something I didn't block him or anything, I promise. I don't know what's going on. Is he in here? Can somebody, Can somebody ask him what he's trying to ask and ask a question for him if that's the case? Please? I mean, shoot, he has my number too, but maybe he knows that I'm on the phone. But anyways, the model number for this Kershaw double duty it's a Kershaw Kai, and it's a Kershaw Kai from Japan, and it's a 4390. And if you guys know and watch my channel, I collect Kershaw Kais. And I don't have one of these yet, but I will. And again,
There might be some on eBay.
there is.
Yeah.
So it fits that slip, and you could tell he actually uses that thing. It got darker from when he was using it. A little chunkier than what I would make it now, but I didn't have his knife when I made this for him. I only made it off. It was a surprise.
Yeah, his wife said, "Oh, I'm out front," and I went down there, and she handed it to me. And this was like 2 hours after I'd been over here. So
Yeah, so I was sitting there and I made it in a scramble. You know, I wanted him to have something. I used a heat gun to dry the dye on it, and I know that's probably not the best case scenario. It was actually the next morning.
okay,
Yeah, so you visited.
came over that afternoon.
She came over before you left,
Yes.
and I got it done. I stayed up pretty late because I wasn't getting any sleep anyways. So I stayed up making this, and I also made one other one. I forget. I made
I
this
think you
and
made a couple of them, yeah.
my son-in-law.
Yeah, yeah.
And I posted a picture of that, but that's kind of the story with that. You know, let's see, Matt says he carries his slip. I made him every day. Tomorrow it's going to a gator knife show. Awesome. You know, Matt's a stand-up guy. He's in Florida, and he has one of the coolest channels out there. He's really, really a good down-to-earth guy. And it was weird because, you know, when I wanted to make him a slip, and I made a slip for, there was a bunch of guys that checked on me after my surgery.
Right.
You know, I didn't know some of them from Adam at the time. You know, I just had talked to them once or twice, and I got to know them because they were texting me every single day and asking how I was. And when you feel that kind of love and that kind of attention from people you don't know, you know that there's somebody looking out for you. And it was a tough time because that's a painful surgery. My doctor said it is the most painful elective surgery anybody could take. And he told me that before, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I can handle pain. I'm a tough guy. And that brought me to my knees. Well, it didn't, because I didn't want to go on my knees.
Figuratively speaking.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, anyways, those core of guys that did that, I wanted to say thank you, and I made them all slips, and I sent them out, and I was trying to get them out before Christmas. And that's, you know, I just had started making, I wanted to create, I wanted to make, and I couldn't come in my shop, so my wife bought me a quarter hide of leather, and I sat at the kitchen table, and I'm still doing that kind of a little bit here and there, and making some leather slips, and I'm actually making a few right now. One is for Dan, I'm doing a trade with, but you know what? Yes, Nate, I am getting pretty mushy on you. I'm sorry, man. But, you know, you were one of those guys, Nate, so I guess a mushy one is you, right? But let's see. Oh, Matt, you're going to go and meet with Thomas, right? Tell Thomas he missed the show. You know, it's Friday night. He's getting too old if he's not staying up till 12. Matt, you better go pee and go to bed. Yeah. You know what? I made Charlie a slip, and I made him a bead as well, and he got that. He says he loves it. Man, Red Eye says he's going to make earrings. So Red Eye, flint naps, arrowheads.
Wow, oh, cool.
Very cool. He sent me a couple of them. I'll show them to
I
you.
think that one you got
Yes,
on
yes.
your sealskin
Yeah,
there.
yes. He mentioned that he's going to make, or he makes earrings. I said, you got to make earrings for my wife. And, you know, a few things, you know, I'm sending him something. Actually, if you don't mind, Red Eye, you mind if I tell everybody kind of what I did for you? I mean, I don't want to do it to self-glorify, but I think it's important because people know that you love Roger's Bone. So with your thumbs up, if you give me a thumbs up, I'll tell them. If not, then I'll stay quiet about it. But, all right, go ahead. So I featured in one of the videos, I had 3 knives. I had old Roger's Bone Trapper that I did a blade delete on. I had, I think it was a keen cutter, and there was one other knife. I'm sorry, maybe it wasn't nice enough for me to remember, or maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know. But that Rogers Bone, made in the USA, it said high carbon steel, made in the USA, nothing else on it. It had cracks in it, but I stabilized those. Beautiful. It turned out to be a beautiful knife. A lot of snap, real sharp, beautiful blade shape. And after I posted that, Red Eye, as I knew he would, sends me a message. He goes, "Hey, you want to trade for this knife?" And my first words out of my mouth, I called him up. I didn't even text him. I called him. I said, "Hey, Red Eye." I said, "No, man, that knife's not for trade." And then he goes, and he sounded like defeated. And I felt bad for a second there. And I said, "That's because it's slated for somebody special." And he goes, "Oh, okay, I get it." And I said, "That's your knife, man." And that's what ended up happening with that. I wanted to give that to him. Red Eye is a stand-up guy, and I really appreciate him. I appreciate all the time and help that he's done, not only for me, but man, the guy bends over backwards trying to promote all other channels. And I know I'm bad about things. At times, I get tunnel vision. If I feel like I have a mission and I need to accomplish something, I go zone in and I do it. And part of doing that is there's a little bit of cannon fodder to that extent. All the questions, all the texts, all the, you know, things that are going on the peripheral don't matter. And it's not intentional. And so, like, some of the questions I get from the comments I get, I end up staying late responding to them because I feel like I didn't get to them at that time. So I felt bad that I wasn't promoting some of the channels to include Red Eyes and things like that, but that's kind of where that came from, and that's why I appreciate Red Eye so much. He does so much for the knife community. I'm surprised Steven. Actually, I'm not surprised Steven's awake. He's still looking at that box of 50 knives he got the other day. But Steven's another guy. Steven's the one who made those beautiful slips that I have, the ones with the warrior, a buck chalk. He made those, and I actually got one coming in from him that I found that I asked him to do, and it was extra special. But Steven is he's my first YouTube friend. Cool. He's the first one I ever reached out to. He's the first one who called me and talked to me and kind of gave me the time of day and pushed me to make my channel. That's Steven. He has a YouTube channel and it is called SJ Relics.
Okay.
So if you don't subscribe to them, I'll send you a list. Everybody that they should subscribe to these guys. They're down to earth guys. They have good hearts. They're good people. The viewers, the subscribers, they also have good hearts and they're good people. From what I see, everything that I've experienced since being on YouTube has been absolutely not only surprising, but it's refreshing in this day and age when you see this kind of love and this kind of camaraderie. And it's, I guess, a shining light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully it's not a train, but
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, so yep, he does play a good guitar. He's an awesome musician. He can even play a harmonica and make it sound like music and not some kind of weird ass horn. So Mark needs to start a YouTube channel just telling stories. I'd subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I should write a book. Probably.
You got another one there?
I got another knife. Yeah, I got more knives. So this is a Bethel yard sale special. I think I got a marbles at the same yard sale. This is it took me a while to read it. It's a Normark. It's just a real basic.
It's a Swedish knife.
It's Swedish, yes. It's just pretty basic. Got kind of a phenolic handle on it. I keep it in a one of my well hidden. So I never find them when I need them go bags. The only thing it doesn't have is a sharp spine, but that's okay. It's got a decent edge on it. But what's really cool about it is it's held together with 4 screws. And if you ever want to see how the springs work on a knife, if I was gonna, ever try to make a folder, I would start with this as my template because it comes apart and you can draw out everything you need.
So this is akin to Sweden's attempt at an army. I'm sorry. Just kidding. I'm sorry, Mark. So it's a little.
Fight them. Go fight them. They're waiting for you. They're waiting for you.
No, but it looks like it has 2 laminated double springs in there.
Yeah, go ahead. I like it. It's like I said, it's just a handy.
It's
a handy keeping the bag full of stuff to make fire and everything else with. It's a
this is a knife
general
that
purpose knife.
This is what we'd say is like a truck knife, one that you throw in there. You don't care if it gets stolen, but you need something to cut something with. That's what this is for.
And I think these guys were maybe a precursor, or there's like Mora.
So you can't compare this to Mora.
What do you mean?
Mora's way better than this.
Well, I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I got a Mora right here.
And you should have showed that one then. I'm just messing with you,
well,
Mark.
like I said, what I like about this one is that if you want to see how a knife works without having to pop the pins on it and take it, this one you unscrew it, and boom.
It's held together with like Chicago screws. And I bet you they go together just like Chicago screws.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool with if you ever need to maintain your knife or something like that. And all joking aside, I seen a brand new one of these at the antique store that I've been eyeballing for the past year and a half. I think they want a little too much for it. They want like $2, but I'm kidding again. No, they want like 30 or 40 bucks, but it's brand new in the packaging.
Oh, really?
And and I think it's cool just because of that reason alone.
Yeah.
And I've been eyeballing it, and Normark actually is a decent brand. It doesn't feel like junk. It feels nice in the hand.
No.
It's nice and heavy, so
it's very comfortable, and like I say, I think it's a good. It's not a sheath bushcraft knife, but it can do just about everything you'd want to do. And you're not going to worry about it. You go and cut bacon with it, or you go and shave some kindling, or whatever.
I think it'll cut bacon. I don't think it'll shave kindling.
I don't know.
Okay, enough teasing. So in the Yupik culture, just so you guys know, all of this razzing that I'm doing with him, it's because I care for him. He's a friend. We kind of go, joke around with our buddies. Nate, that's why I think Nate Calhoun is part Yupik. He does that too. So in our culture, humor is one of the basis for our foundation of what we're taught. And Mark knows I'm just messing with him.
I know.
This Normark was an easy target, but I agree with him. I think it's a good knife. I think that it's perfect for exactly everything he cited, and I'd be happy to have something like this, as long as I didn't have to pay a lot and I didn't give up a U.S. made knife for it. But that's cool, Mark.
Yeah. And then I got my my little Eldris, which everybody knows about them. I don't have the fire starter kit that you can get for it. It's a little sheath that goes on there. For some reason, Amazon doesn't want to ship it to Alaska, but this thing won't fall out, and it does have a nice sharp spine, and I've got enough fire steels that I don't need to have one hanging off of this.
So Moras are good knives. I have one in my boat that I keep in there all the time, and they don't cost that much, and they're quality for what they are. So that's messed up, Red Eye.
So I do have. What do you got? Do you want to trade? What do you got laying around? You want to trade? I got something to trade.
I'm not going to tell you that until I see what you're offering.
Well, this is.
Yeah. So.
That's good for. So what you guys need to ask James to do is to do a YouTube video about culinary. No, you can have that. About culinary cutlery, because I don't know if he talks about how how okay of a cook he is, but he's he likes to cook, and I think he probably has a couple of nice Japanese culinary knives that deserve some attention. So he knows a little bit about that stuff too. It's not just all these guys in the wood knives that he should be talking about. He should be talking about culinary cutlery, And I'm sure some of you guys on the channel that are watching also share that interest. And I mean, right here, this is, this is Yupik culinary cutlery, because you can do anything with this thing. But he does know a lot about Ginsu knives. I mean, he'd be up late at night watching the infomercials, and Teresa's like, "Come to bed.
Yeah.
Wait, wait. It's almost over." And it's one of those half-hour infomercials. But wait, there's more.
No.
So hit him up. Hit him up. I think culinary cutlery is a very interesting topic that I think he is well qualified to speak about.
Well, I appreciate that, Mark, and definitely not Ginsu. Yeah. So I always have thought about showing some of my kitchen knives. I have a decent amount of knives, and every year for my birthday, one of my kids or my wife end up buying me a knife that I utilize in the kitchen. Last year, my oldest girl bought me a Benchmade meat crafter knife, and it's an awesome knife. I mean, I think it's the next steel they do below Magna Cut. And then later on that summer, one of my other kids for Father's Day bought me one of the Magna Cut fillet knives from Benchmade. And I mean, we have so many other. I have knives, and I know you guys do as well. That Don Froggy, I know he can do a whole entire show, I bet, on different kind of knives that for butchering meat. We all get focused and zoned in on a lot of these pocket knives and hunting knives. I think it'd be kind of cool if we dedicated a little bit of a snippet to maybe something along the lines of off the wall knives, like kitchen knives, or
they're off the wall if they got a magnet mount, but
pun intended.
You ain't gonna. Yeah, I mean, no. Yeah. James is a very talented cook, and he's got the tools, and he's been collecting the tools for a long time, ever since, when he first started having kids. The house that him and Teresa and their first couple of kids lived in was not much bigger than this shop. In all seriousness, not much bigger, and he'd cook up a storm in there. So I think you should talk to them about kitchen knives sometime. So I got a couple more left here. This is the numbers on this TL29. I don't know if this is an old Bell System electrician's knife, but it's the one that's got the
screwdriver and pry.
It's got the locking screwdriver.
Yeah.
Got the locking screwdriver, and of course now I don't have.
Is that a Camillus?
This is a. I think it might be. I'll tell you here in a second.
All these guys in here.
Camillus. Okay. Yeah, it's Camillus.
Everybody in here knows the TL29 Camillus.
Yeah.
This actually, I would pick this as a truck knife over that other one any day.
Oh, sure. Well, you get a screwdriver.
Yeah, you got a pry bar, screwdriver, and it's USA made.
Yeah.
Again, nothing wrong with the Swedish knife, but this has been around for a long time. It's a solid knife, but a lot of these guys definitely know about these
kind of knives. That 50-50 stuff.
Yeah, I'll before you leave, I'm going to take care of all of your guys. Yeah, I'm going to take care of your knives before you leave here.
Let's see what else have I got here. Let's go back to coins for just a second, because I got one knife left. So I've got a kind of a cool coin. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, this one. I work there now too, but quite a number of years ago at the Yukon Customer Health Corporation, when I was working, we'd get pretty hoity-toity visitors. We had a bunch of White House fellows came and just they were, I don't know, Ted Stevens or somebody told them, go out to Bethel. One of the guys was an Air Force, maybe he was a colonel by then, but he had flown combat air patrol over Washington, D.C. on 9/11. So they gave everybody a commission on White House Fellows coins, which is kind of cool. I don't know if I'd call that super rare, but it's cool enough. I got a couple more Walters coins here. This was he was in an exercise in Korea called Cobra Gold. This was in 2008. If I can get this thing open, this is a nice kind of plastic filled. Take a look at that plastic filled coin or enameled coin.
So Mark alluded to it earlier, but Mark gave me one of Walter's coins. He gave me his recon coin, and that's been one of my prized coins that I keep in my collection at work. And man, you're lucky that these aren't silver, and it was like yesterday when they were worth $120 an ounce. Or
I heard the bottom fell out. I don't know. I heard the bottom fell out.
You've been getting pretty darn close.
That's his engineering equipment school coin there. You need to get a GoPro here, my friend. Yeah. And let's see what else.
So Walter was a diesel mechanic in the
Marine Corps. Yeah, he worked on just about everything. Oh, wait a minute.
And that didn't surprise me. This kid was pulling apart snow machine.
That was yours. And then I don't know. This is one of the goofier ones I got. I don't know what the hell this is. It's I don't know, some Laurel and Hardy outfit. No, this is James got these when he was a VPSO, Village Public Safety Officer, and of course now he's the boss of the Village Public Safety Officers. And you know, I have to say, one of the things that I like to brag about is that the kid I hired at 18 became and is currently the highest ranking Alaska Native in Alaska law enforcement. And I got to say, I'm a little bit proud of that, of sticking my head out the window and seeing you, because if I hadn't, you'd probably be the AC manager in Bethel now.
maybe Anchorage.
Yeah,
maybe Anchorage. No, I appreciate that, Mark. I'm happy that Mark got to stop by. I know we're pushing an hour and 11 minutes.
We just got one more.
And so, serious question for Mark and James.
Okay.
Thoughts on UFOs. So, I don't want you guys to think I'm crazy, but we lived in Hooper Bay.
We've both seen them.
And we have both seen them. So Hooper Bay is right next to Uskinuk Mountains, which there is a Caperman's Air Force Station right above.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there were like aliens and stuff, but they definitely weren't planes or helicopters. And it wouldn't surprise me if the military had tested some aircraft out in that area. I remember one Easter evening, I stepped outside and it was a clear, crisp night. It was really cold out. And I stepped outside of the house to go walk around the house because one of my daughter's friends called and said there was something hovering about over the town. And I went out and I looked, and I looked in the direction she said, and sure enough, I saw these lights, and there was triangular shaped lights just slowly spinning, and it was hovering, I'd estimate about 400 or 500 feet up, and it was traveling probably about 20 miles an hour. I mean, it was going slow, like it was going, and there was no noise. I couldn't hear anything at all. And it was a quiet, clear night. And in Alaska, when it is clear, when it is cold, sound travels far. And so I didn't hear anything. And so I'm looking at this and I pull out my old iPhone, and it was, man, one of the first iPhones. And of course it was a shaky video and it wasn't worth keeping or anything. So I stopped recording and it started passing the house, and I start watching it. And then I called my brother who lived in the direction it was heading. And I said, hey man, I need you to look out the door. Tell me if I'm crazy or not. Do you see these lights? And my brother steps out and it starts getting a little quicker and heading in their direction. He goes, yeah, I see that. And I said, do you hear anything? He goes, no, quiet. So I stayed quiet. He goes, no, I don't hear anything. And as it got to where we call Blueberry Hill, so my house was over here, and Blueberry Hill was probably about 3/4 of a mile away. As soon as it got to that area, it took a beeline, like straight towards the Air Force Base at, I would say, from going about 30, 40 miles an hour to probably going, it disappeared like that. And I would estimate hundreds of miles an hour. So in all seriousness, yes, I have seen some things like that out there, as have most people. You know, Hooper Bay is right on the west coast of Alaska. I mean, I've seen Russian bombers fly over Hooper Bay.
You have?
Yeah, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got you there.
I
and
thought
there-
I could have swore I seen a freaking hind flying over at Mothluck one time, but then somebody said, "Oh, it was probably a sky crane." I said, "I don't know."
No, this was they're unmistakable. The prop, 4-4 prop. I mean, so and I reported, of course, both of those
Well, they would have
instances.
seen Caper Manzac would have seen it on the radar anyway.
Well,
but
yeah.
but there's a lot of weird. There's we have an awful lot of Bigfoot sightings, not just out in Hooper Bay and all over West Alaska. I seen a UFO one time. I got the binoculars out, looked at it. It was just that fuzzy light like that. You just couldn't focus on it. And back in the good old days, the FAA had a flight service station at Nome, and I called him. I said, "Hey, and he says, first of all, he gave me the phone number from MUFON. And he said, yeah, or maybe I talked to the MUFON guy the next day, and he said, what you're describing is like 90% of the UFO sightings that we see. So it's really common when you see something that you just can't get a focus on, whether it's an energy field or whatever. So no skepticism here. So this is the last one that I wanted to pull out. This is a Meyerchen. It's a rig knife, and
They have the marlin spike.
it's got a marlin spike right there. No, this is a kind of a traditional style sailor's knife, and I did some Bose and mate shit on it.
And you don't go on a boat. You want to sell this or trade it?
I don't know. I might have something that I want to show you about a trade.
So Meyerchen, this is a Japanese mariner's knife, and if anybody doesn't think a Japanese mariner's knife isn't like top tier, you gotta really look at this. This thing is solid. It has kind of like a modified Warncliffe on it almost, and it has nice jimping underneath and on top, and it has a Meyerchen. It has a marlin spike. Yeah. And you undo it, strap, and it pulls out. But anybody who hasn't ever used one of these things on a boat, they're absolutely irreplaceable. And when you're undoing like anchor knots and things like that, these need to be done. Every time I'd go fishing with my grandpa or my father-in-law, they would have some kind of modified marlin spike. They not necessarily would have a westernized version of like this, but sometimes it was a sharp,
the ground down.
Yep,
Or something, yeah.
a sharpened moose antler or something like that. But definitely a very useful tool. And when you're on a boat and you want something that's quality, especially when you need to make that cut if something were to happen. In Alaska, we have such high fast currents. And we have really muddy bottoms. And if you anchor and you can't get that anchor out and the tide's coming up, it can pull your boat and sink it. So if you need to cut that anchor line, you need a good solid boat or good solid knife to cut that rope without any issues. And sometimes when you're fishing, like in the inlet for halibut, and you kind of you throw down the anchor and you kind of drag the bottom, just so, because the current goes out so quick and you don't want to miss the high spots where the fish are. You can get that anchor stuck, and as it's pulling you down, we actually had a family out fishing in that area, and exactly that happened, and that boat got pulled in and sunk, and it killed everybody on that boat. And this was just, I think, 2 years ago. So, I mean, really important stuff to have good tools. What's up? I appreciate you. Baxter's Blade. I'm surprised you're awake. But actually, you know what? I'm not. You're in California, so it's a lot easier, a lot more understandable than the guys on the East Coast. But, Baxter's Blade, if you haven't checked out any other channels, he does a cool channel too. How's that slip treating you? Yep, must have. He says must have on any boat. So Jesse from San Antonio, I had long talks with Jesse. Jesse's a solid guy. He reached out to me. He actually sent me a really good book. I didn't put that on YouTube because it was kind of a personal thing, but I had a long talk with him, and the guy's fantastic.
Right on.
Yep, only 9 down there. Yep, I'm glad you loved that slip. I appreciate it, and I appreciated your video. Andrew has probably one of the best intros to any YouTube channel out there. You just got to go watch it.
Okay.
You know, I love it. I told him it kind of gives me a smile to my face every single time. I actually thought about doing a parody of that, not to make fun of you, but because I like it so much. You know, I was thinking of something like, hello, all you North Pole loving people. Welcome to the polar bear den. Something like that, but you know, yeah, I can't do it. I just know I can't. I mean, he nailed it. He has it done every single time, but you know that you got a bunch of solid guys here. We got 17. We're starting to go down a little bit.
Well, it's bedtime for some of them, I expect.
Yeah, he says that would be awesome. Do it. You know what? I'm going to sneak it in sometime. But before I do that, I got to do a laser printing of some kind of polar bear or something so I can do that and change out my warrior with a polar bear. Now, interesting enough, my grandpa's Yupik name was Nanook, which means polar bear in Yupik. You know, it's one of those things where that's why on the other side of that slip, that's why that polar bear is there. Yeah, I did tell him. Yeah, I was talking to Steven and I said, I got to do it. And it wasn't to poke fun. It was because I think your intro is cool. And I wanted to do that and I thought it would be pretty funny. All right, well, great live stream. We're going to hit the sack. We got guys starting to drop off, and we're about hour and 20 minutes in.
We'll do this again. Just one thing. If anybody out there, if any of you guys are ham radio operators, you know somebody who is, I have a very nice ICOM 775 DSP that I will trade for a Randall, even a bird and trout. So if that's interesting to anybody, get a hold of James, and he'll let me know.
I just traded a bird and trout Randall. He doesn't know that.
Oh well.
Well, maybe if you brought forward a Meyerchen and a Case Hobo stag and a nice cold steel stag, maybe he would have walked out with a bird and trout.
Yeah, no, I'll trade $1,000 radio for a Randall.
All right. Well, how do you say my favorite in Yupik? So in Yupik, that really isn't a word because we don't
play favorites, really.
we don't play favorites in our culture. But if you were wanting to acknowledge something you like very much, you would say asikhpa, which means you like it very much. Or if you want to notate somebody's expertise on something, you would say they are a nukashpak, which means they are good at what they do, or lemak, which means champ, like they are very good at what they do. It isolates somebody's talents rather than their personalities, and it doesn't create that separation by saying favorites. So that's a little bit on Yupik culture. I know you guys are always interested about it. Last, before we go, and I know this is going to record, and this is more for the recording than the guys here. I finished up 4 anvils. 2 of them are spoken for. They're going to Walt, and they're going to my brother Herb. And the other 2, number 3 and 4, they're similar to this. This is my anvil. This is one I always use. I did a few upgrades on it, as you guys can probably see. I finally added the leather to it for the softer area to do the striking on. I put my logo on there finally so you guys can see it, because I always wanted my logo to kind of be shown if somebody was using this on their YouTube channel. I drilled a hole on the corner here, and I have this right there. So the other ones are very similar. I'm going to release a YouTube video on them. I am going to sell or trade. I want to sell one because I need to turn around and I need to buy some consumables and some metal. And I don't want to, and I told my wife, I promised her that this hobby would pay for that hobby. I don't want it to come out of any other money. So I'm going to sell one of those, and I'm going to make a trade. I want to make a trade or a sale on the other one. So $320 shipped. I put a lot more work in that. I mean, I could by hour wise and stuff like that. I'm underselling the amount of work that goes into them. Trade value, I have to do 350 because that's what they are. And
It's a big chunk of metal.
and it works great. I mean, if you're going to work on knives, pull apart knives, this is something that you just can't buy anywhere. And I don't want to anybody to think that I'm trying to coin the market and trying to charge a lot of money for something. And I'm going to let you guys know something. This is a labor of love for me. The amount of time that it takes me to work on a knife or an anvil, Mark knows this. I can turn around and make a pair of ivory earrings in about a third of the time and sell it for double the price. So it's not the money for me. It's more about wanting to make things better for the knife community and work things out like that. So everybody's saying good. You know, Nate says, great to meet you, Mark.
Well,
You
nice
know,
meeting all you guys.
so I mean, unless you guys have any last minute questions, that's kind of it. And you know, my email's on the end of the videos. If you guys need anything, it's warriorworks@alaskan.com. You know, once we start getting to talk and stuff, I can get my number to you guys, and we can do it that way. But caution, once you get me on the phone, if you're a talker and I'm a talker, an hour goes by real quick, as evidenced as this video is. So, moon landing, real or fake? Everybody knows it's fake, Nate. I'm just messing with you. I have no clue, you know. But with all that being said, you guys have a wonderful evening. You guys stay warm. You guys stay safe. And thank you guys for dropping in. I really appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Yeah, you guys.
And I'm going to wait for you guys all of you guys to go out before I go out, just in case there's any last minute questions. But thank you. Great show, Stephen. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right. Good night. Later, guys. I'm going to spend my last half hour in the shop fixing up all this, getting this slave labor taken care of by Mark. Later. Good night, guys. Thank you, guys. No, you hang up. You could tell we're about to see. Nate and I are less than a month apart, so we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Good night, Wayne. Good night, Jesse. Hey, good night, Aaron. Stay warm too. Good night, Bob. Thank you. Still got 15 in there. But Stephen, good night, brother. What you got there?
Oh, this is.
Is that Walters?
Yeah, and this one closes. This is on the outside.
Yes.
Okay.
Always.
This one is. Now okay.
No, it's in the middle, like
it is now. Yeah, it is now. Yeah. It was.
He didn't believe me, you guys.
No, it was. I went and closed it and see it.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's okay. Yeah.
It's good, right?
It seems to be good now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The sheep's foot saw was in the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
And it looks like it's even not scratching or touching anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
All right. Well, it looks like everybody's starting to dwindle off. Good night.
All right.
Yep. I appreciate
okay,
you guys.
We'll do this again. We'll talk about something different next time. We'll talk about UFOs.
Maybe not. I think I want people to, not think I'm crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
For the record, I did pass a psychological test. All right, you guys take care.